Alright everyone, back with more Batman madness. Here we are with issue 90, looking gorgeous. I love this cover, so this looks terrific. Catwoman's secret will tear them apart. That's amazing, amazing tagline. So yeah, this one here, which thankfully I managed to get a hold of a lot easier, was a pretty interesting read, so it was. It was a bit different from the last few issues. This one was more of, it was the flashback issue. You know, like how Netflix, when they do a TV show, pretty much every season of a Netflix show has one episode dedicated to flashbacks and shit, you know, explaining backstories. That's pretty much the comic equivalent to this with this issue. So it opens up and we get probably the greatest image that I've ever seen in a Batman comic ever. Like, ever. This right here. Geek Girl Harley playing video games. And yeah, that was just something that I never thought I needed in my Batman comic, but here it is, and it's pretty amazing, not gonna lie. After we get that, we cut back to Batman and Catwoman in their conversation that we left off with. And here's where Catwoman finally explains all her dark secrets from long, long ago. Actually, it wasn't that long ago, but here I see in the story, we get to see the old style Catwoman from, I believe it's 1980s here, which is a bit confusing because this is the new 52 timeline still we're in, and that only begun in 2011. I haven't really been following it since then, I must admit, but from what I gather, this is like really early on in the current universe, as we'll call it, timeline, and we get to see old style Catwoman here, which is pretty cool, not gonna lie. And some of the other major villains as well, we get to see Joker, we get to see Riddler and Penguin, so like pretty much the four most iconic Batman villains. Sorry, any Man-Bat fans out there, didn't mean to upset you, I'm sure he'll pop up at some point in the story. But we get to see them there, and they're sporting their classic attire and stuff, just looking how you'd expect them to. And we get to see some cool interactions, them chatting and stuff, and they've all been invited to go meet the designer that we were introduced to in the last issue. So we actually get to see some interesting stuff, we get to see some dialogue here. This issue really delves into the personalities of each of these characters and a little bit of their history. And they travel along on this boat to this really weird looking house, and can I just say, I've not really talked much about the art in these books of the last few issues, but the art has been consistently good, like really, really good. And the artist that did this issue, George Jimenez, I think that's how you pronounce his name, I apologise if I got it wrong. I really do, because he is a dope artist. And some of the stuff he's done over these last few issues is brilliant, especially this page here, which I wanted to go into. Which is why I bring up the art, because it looks fucking fantastic. I mean, just look at this here. The house just looks, it screams gothic. And that's perfect for Batman. So it is, it looks like the haunted house out of Disneyland. We follow them there, and they meet the designer, and we have this another lovely page of him standing there with his big cape, and he's got a massive sword, and yeah, he looks quite fucking terrifying, this guy. Like, this is a guy that you don't want to mess with. Of course, the Joker tries to mess with him. Joker being Joker, he gets right in his face, which is quite funny. And then we get to see we get to find out a little bit more about the designer and who he is. He explains his backstory, which is quite interesting. We find out he seems to be a really old guy from a period like long ago. He's like fighting with swords with this other guy. It sort of makes a parallel to his interactions with this other guy who was a vigilante of his time, and how that is similar to what these new villains are doing with Batman, which is quite interesting. So we get to see, is he going to be like their mentor, or was he trying to be their mentor to, you know, take them on and show them how to really go from just being a random crazy ass bad guy to being a complete mastermind and super criminal, which is basically what all these characters have become over the years if you really think about it. I mean, look at the Joker, for example. This is one thing I want to touch upon, is the evolution of these characters throughout the decades. I mean, look at Joker in, I believe it's Batman issue number 1 from 1940, where he's just this random guy, and is it 41? Run a bit then. I think it's 1941 actually. Apologise if I get that wrong. He's just some random ass guy who looks like a clown who wants to rob banks and shit. where there's years later he grew into a psychopath and just an insane guy. Same goes for the Riddler and Penguin, and even Catwoman to a degree. They've all become much more. They've been more developed and become much more three-dimensional and much more interesting over the years. And it's obviously because of writing and stuff. That's happened with most characters, to be fair. But I really like how it touches upon that in this, because you could really see these are the earlier versions of these characters that are just there doing their gimmicks, doing their things, and just being more of a pest to Batman more than anything else. Not really a real threat. And the designer tries to change that, so it really sets him up as being the one that sort of crafted the modern rogues gallery that Batman has, or at least having a hand in it. He took them from just being randomers to being serious threats to Batman and to Gotham as a whole, which is really interesting. We get to see Catwoman talks about how she just robs, jewellery stores and stuff, and then she talks about, he asks her like what would be the greatest heist she could ever think of to pull off. Ties in with something in this story which we'll get back to later, but it's interesting. He gets her thinking higher, more ambitious. Does the same with Penguin. He talks about scamming his way into office. So he does becoming the mayor, which would be interesting to see. I don't know if that storyline's ever been done. Riddler talks about coming up with some crazy equation that would like completely fuck over the police and their system, which is a lot higher than some of the daft things he was doing back in the day, I'm sure. But then things take a turn for the worst, and Joker goes in and talks with the designer, and we don't know what Joker says to the designer, but it pisses the designer off so much so that he comes out and orders them all dead. All of them. And a bit of a fight scene breaks out, madness ensues, but then, out of nowhere, plot twist, Joker has a gun, they managed to sneak one in. That was another thing, they had to give up all their weapons at the start, so I should have mentioned that earlier. But Joker manages to conceal a gun somewhere and he takes the designer out, which is insane, or which is weird because the designer is still alive in the story now, so somehow he came back. I wonder, is this a clue as to who the designer really is? Is the designer Ra's al Ghul? I have a feeling it's Ra's al Ghul. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but the whole him being sold and being killed at one point and obviously coming back now, it could be possible. And also, Ra's al Ghul, when you think about it, was also the guy that, in the comics and in the film Batman Begins, was the one that really took Bruce Wayne from just being some random ass guy who, he was born to a wealthy family and stuff, but he was not really a serious vigilante or whatever. He was just some guy who, he could fight and put up a fight and stuff and take on guys, but he wasn't the Batman. It was really Ra's al Ghul that helped develop him into becoming capable enough to become the Batman. And it'd be interesting to see if the designers, if he is Ra's, if he's trying to do that with the villains as well, and if he isn't Ra's al Ghul, if he's someone else, it's an interesting parallel there, I think. And then, so at the end of the story, we get the villains all take down, well, once the designer's taken down, the villains decide that rather than making a big deal about this, they should just pretend it never happened. So they decide to burn the house down, which makes for a pretty cool image here at the end. And then Catwoman talks about her inner thoughts and stuff, and how she noticed that day specifically was the day that the Joker completely changed. And he went from being the pretty harmless enough, jokester character that the Joker was for a long time, in the 50s and the 60s, into being the more crazy and sadistic and evil Joker that we've been accustomed to in more recent years. And we get this final shot here of him with the fire behind him, and it looks gorgeous. Like I says, the art is fantastic. But then after that, at the end, we finally cut back to Batman, who really hasn't been in this story that much, or in this issue anyway. And we get the big plot twist, which I thought was really cool and really effective as a cliffhanger, because it was set up earlier and goes directly into what we're going to get to in the next issue, I'm sure. Catwoman reveals her big secret at long last, and her big secret was that what she told the designer, i.e. the greatest heist she could ever plan, would be robbing Bruce Wayne's family. And the designer's probably going to do that now. And Batman, as soon as he realises that, she doesn't even tell him. He figures it out and he says it to her. He dives off away. He'd do whatever he can now to try and protect his family and his family's legacy, his family's fortune. And he's probably too late. That's the thing. So, yeah, this has been a really good storyline so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next. Like I said, this cliffhanger was great. I'm excited as hell for the next issue, and I'm going to try and get up as soon as I can, because I know I was slacking a little bit with these last two videos. I do hope you have been enjoying them though so far. I do enjoy talking about them and making these videos, and I'm going to try and get up till issue 100 at the very least. We'll see what happens after that. But if you want me to keep doing these videos, just let me know. Put it in the comments below. If you have been really enjoying these videos, if you haven't, even put that in the comments below. If you think there's anything I can improve upon, let me know that as well. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about, related to this story specifically, like I said, just put it down in the comments. If you've got any ideas who the designer really is, that'd be interesting to know. Do you like my theory on it being Ra's al Ghul? I mean, I think it might not, probably isn't going to be, to be honest, but it's just that's the first person that came to my head when I was reading this story earlier. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.